Okay, we're going to take a look at global navigation, starting with latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude let us represent and pinpoint our location on the globe wherever we are. So, let's take a look at what latitude is. Latitude is represented by these lines that go across the globe here. They go wrap around. You'll notice that there's one big one in the middle here. That one's called the equator. Now, they show us how far north or south we are of the equator. And major ones go up in lots of 10 degrees, 20 degrees, but it can be any amount. Ones north of the equator have an N after them, and ones south of the equator have a south, an S. The equator is 0 degrees. Now, one important thing to remember with lines of latitude is they get smaller as they get towards the poles. You can see that the equator goes all the way around. Okay, it's actually the diameter of the Earth. But the next one up and the next one up progressively gets smaller. That's important because when we go to look at distances, we have to take that into account. The next one we're going to look at is longitude. Longitude is represented by these nice long lines that go from the North Pole down to the South Pole and around the other side of the globe. That's why they're longitude, because they're long. And north through the South Pole. Now notice how, because they all go from the North Pole to the South Pole, they're all the same size. So we don't need to factor that in when we're looking at distances, because they're all going to be the same length. Lines of longitude show us how far east or west we are on the globe. And now you might think, well, that's funny. Where, like, east from where or west from where? Well, it's actually from this line. If we're looking, it's not on the globe. It's over on this map here. But can you see this line here? It actually has a name. It's called the Prime Meridian, and it goes through a place called Greenwich, which is a small part in London, Greater London as it is now. So if you are this direction of Greenwich, then you are east, and if you are this direction, then you are west, until you get to what's called the date line, which is the other side of the globe, which is this 180 degrees here. Okay, and then you swap over to the other hemisphere. So when we say Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere, everything here is the Eastern Hemisphere, everything here is the Western Hemisphere. So let's take a look and see if we can answer some questions. What ocean does the Prime Meridian cross the equator? Oh, well, let's take a look. We know where the Prime Meridian is. That's here, this line down here. And the equator is this line that wraps around the globe here. So what ocean is where they intersect? That's the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so the answer is going to be the Atlantic Ocean. See how we can pinpoint a position by combining our distance from the equator up or down with our distance north and east and west of Greenwich. So let's clear off our map and let's take a look at some more questions. Okay, so first question we have is, where is this place here? 60 degrees north, 100 degrees west. Actually, what I'm going to do is move this up so it's right next to the map, if that's okay. And we'll get rid of these things here. Make it a bit easier for ourselves. Okay, so we've got 60 degrees north, 100 degrees west. So we're starting from, see how it says north? Okay, so our first one is our latitude, followed by our longitude. Okay, so 60 degrees north is going to be, let me go, nice fat yellow line. Okay, good. Is going to be on this. That didn't really show up, did it? Let's go to a different color. Pink will work well. 60 degrees north. That's going to be here. 60 degrees north of the equator. And then 100 degrees west. Okay, well that's 100 degrees west of Greenwich. Now there's no line for 100 degrees, but it's still there. Okay, it's going to be 90. If that's 120 there, 100 degrees is going to be roughly here. Okay. So, the question is, what continent exists at this location? So, what continent is where those two grid lines intersect? It's North America. Okay, let's try the next one. 60 degrees north, 100 degrees east. Okay, so we've still got 60 degrees north. We can keep that one. But this time, instead of going west of Greenwich, we're going to go east of Greenwich. So we're going to go to 100 degrees east, which is that line. Where's that? It's Asia. Okay. Nice. Now, here we go. What's our next one? 20 degrees south, 60 degrees west. Okay, so instead of going north of the equator now, we're going to go south. So it's going to be about here, yeah, and then 60 degrees west. Okay, so it's going to be west of Greenwich, which is west of Greenwich, remember, this way. Okay, what's there? South America. 20 degrees north, 20 degrees east. Going back north, okay. Most of the world's population is north of the equator. Here we go, 20 degrees north. And that's only because most of the land is north of the equator. 20 degrees north, 20 degrees east. Okay, so 20 degrees east. Okay, remember instead of going west, we're going east this time, but not too far. What's there? That's Africa. Okay, and then we've got one more. Going back south, 20 degrees south, 140 degrees east. Okay, so going back down to 20 degrees south, and then 140 degrees east. Well, that's going to be way over here. Guess is where, what's here? It's Australia. Okay, got a bonus one for you. What location is at 90 degrees south and 60 degrees east? Let's go there, shall we? 90 degrees south. Whoa, that's way south. Okay, see? Whoa, stay there. Okay, going way down. See, 0 down, 30 down, 60 south, 90 degrees south. It's going to be right down at this place here. That's called the South Pole. And then 60 degrees east, well, we know where that is. That's going to be over here. So what continent is at that location? It's Antarctica. Okay, that's latitude and longitude.